Welcome, ASAP Peer Mentors. Peer mentoring is a vital role to connect and engage with our ASAP students. Peer mentors are given a great opportunity to develop professional, transferable skills that can be applied to a variety of work environments. We are really excited to begin working with you. Okay, so today we will be reviewing the following items: how to complete timesheets and work logs, a review of Microsoft Teams and how we use Teams in our peer mentoring program, expectations, which will include professionalism, communication, email etiquette, the checking in and out process at the start and end of your shift. We will also take a look at the peer mentor manual on Teams, and we will review Tradeify.
To do as a peer mentor is make sure that you complete your timesheet. These are to be completed and turned into Fatima and myself every Friday. We cannot delay in that because they're due to human resources, and we must review them for any corrections before they're submitted. So at the end of your shift on a Friday, please make sure that you submit your timesheet. Important to note, right, you want to fill it in your last name, your first name, your title, which is college assistant. So make sure that when you type it in, you're typing in college assistant here. The department and budget is A.S.A.P. Your EMPL ID is here. That is different than your payroll reference number. You will either be given, or Fatima and I can get you your payroll reference number. This does not change, and you will submit that on your timesheet. The pay period covered is from Sunday. Even if you don't work Sunday, which you're not going to, you want to make sure that your week starts on Sunday and it ends on Saturday. So that's the time period here. Budget line, leave it alone because it's absolutely already completed. Do not touch those numbers. Everything here is filled out by payroll, so you don't need to touch that. Some important notes here are: for every 6 consecutive hours, you must take a half hour for lunch. And for every 7 hours, you must take a 1 hour lunch. So if you were working like a full day from 9 to 5, that's an 8-hour day, you would put 9 in, out, 5, and make sure that you record your lunch in and out time. Okay. Pretty standard and straightforward here is the day of the week, the date, which is the month, so like October, November, December, whenever it is, what day, and then what time did you start. You should really be starting on the hour, or half hour, right? We don't want 9:03 or 9:07, right? You would round that up probably closer to 9:15, but really you should be starting on the hour or on the half hour. Lunch in and out, again, feel free to take lunch. These are not paid time, but if you need to take lunch, you can add in any break. And then what time are you out? And then the total hours worked. Okay. You do not have any annual leave and you do not have any sick leave at this point. So any of the days that you're either out or you're sick will not be paid at this time. Okay. And then as you scroll down, you want to make sure that you have entered your total hours worked. For your signature, you're going to type in your name and you're going to type in signed electronically because we're not in person to do it. If we do revert to in person, you will sign it and then you will date it. Okay. You cannot submit for hours you have not worked. So if you are not going to be here on a Friday, you can submit on Thursday, but you cannot submit on Thursday for hours you have not worked yet on Friday. All right. So you want to make sure that everything is accounted for. You will then
Teams.
upload these to Teams. Okay. Pretty standard. Save is going to for your last name, comma, your first name, and then the pay period for which you are working. So you would do file, save as. You're going to put it in your last name, your first name, comma, your first name. If I could type, it would be amazing. And then the time period. Right? You'll hit save, and then you will upload that to Teams, and we'll go over Teams with you in a little bit. This is how you do your timesheet. They are due weekly. If you delay submitting your timesheet, your payroll may be. Another item that we request of you every week, and this is done for everybody across the board who works within ASAP, we do what are called work logs. This helps your coaches understand how you're spending your time, but it also helps you, the peer mentor, understand how you're spending your time. How much time are you spending connecting with students? How much time are projects taking? It helps you also evaluate, is there a better way to use time, or do you need to allocate more time to certain items? This is a pretty basic work log. Again, your employee details are going to be here. This is going to be your employee ID, and you're going to put in your name. Your period start date is going to be that Sunday, and the end date is going to be that Saturday. So it really does align with the timesheet. You should do your work log first and then do your timesheet, because this will help you fill out that timesheet. Been allocated to work for 12 hours. This does not change. And then these will, the total hours worked, regular hours and over hours, these will automatically tally. As you see in here, they have formulas already built in, so you don't really need to touch those. The date, you're going to enter the date that you're working. So we will enter today just as an example, and say you start at 10 a.m. and you're going to work. You worked on a project for an hour. As you can see, it starts to automatically tally for you. And then it's projects and outcomes. Now we can add to this list. We built this to kind of help streamline the process, but say you were doing phone calls, therefore you did student outreach. Then at 11 o'clock, let's say to 12:30, you did a presentation, or you attended a presentation, or you know, something to do with the workshop, you would put the hours here. Okay. So for this day, you did 2 hours and 30 minutes. So 2.5 is actually 2.30. Okay. So then over here, you would put the day, you would put the time in. So this was, what day is today? Wednesday? Okay. Your time in was 10. You didn't take a break. Your time out is 12:30. 2.5 is 2.5 hours. Okay. When you change the date over here, it will automatically update on your timesheet record. Okay. This is just a way for you to keep track of what you're doing, and you'll do that for every day. If at any point you go above 12 hours, it will let you know, and you should reach out to Fatima and I at that point so that we can really try to help figure out, you know, what happened, was it approved. The other thing is, you want to do, when you're doing timesheet tracking, everything should be in pretty rounded increments. So like no 3-minute projects, no 7-minute projects, no 27-minute projects. If it's 27 minutes, it's a half hour. So try to keep everything to quarter hours, half hours, or whole hours. It just makes tracking for you and for us so much easier. As you can see, on the 13th, I started at 9. I worked on something for like 2 hours. So maybe I did, I had a meeting with Fatima. for 2 hours, right? Okay. And then I did 11 to 1. Then that says 1 a.m., right? So that looks a little weird. This is all done in military time. If you do not know how to do military time, I teach you how to do military time. Again, this could be a meeting with my other peer mentors, right? Or other tasks, right? You should be able to type right in here. I don't think it has complete validation where you must complete, but you can choose. If you do not know how to do military time, enter the time you want. It'll tell you right here that 1 o'clock is 3, 2 is 4. Basically, you add 12. But this is a way to figure out military time if you don't know how to do military time. Now it's showing me I've worked 6.5 hours. I can put those hours over here. It helps me track my timesheet. Okay. And I do that for every day. The hours listed on your worksheet must match the hours listed on your timesheet. Fatima and I will go in and check, so we do want to make sure. We have seen instances where people have shortchanged themselves. They haven't put in enough hours. We have seen where people put in too many hours, right? So we want to make sure, and we do double check this. This is why we need your timesheets and your work logs together. Again, you're going to do file. You're going to save it in the same format as you saved the other one. So you save it as your last name, comma, your first name, and then the date range. Right? Once it is saved, you will then upload this to Teams, and Fatima will go over Teams with you. Okay. Again, if you have any questions, always reach out to Fatima or myself so we can help guide you through it. Okay.
So now we will be reviewing Microsoft Teams. And Teams is a way for us to initiate our staff meetings, our weekly staff meetings. We also communicate throughout the week on Teams. There's ways for you to upload documents. So we'll be reviewing that in the next portion. Okay, so you will soon be added to the Microsoft Teams Peer Mentor account. And when you click on the Peer Mentor folder, it should bring you to this page. So like I said, we use Teams to start our staff meetings, and the staff meeting is initiated by either Angela or myself. And during the staff meetings, we expect that your videos are on for the staff meetings. So you'll see that when we initiate the video through Teams, we're not doing a phone call, but using the video format. Now, there's many different tabs, different folders. We're going to go through this together piece by piece. So if you click the Files tab at the top, so it says General, Posts, Files, it will bring you to this section. And currently there's 3 different folders. The first is Archived folder, and this is information uploaded by previous peer mentor teams through the ASAP peer mentoring program at QCC. So if you click on this, you'll be able to see the work that was done by past peer mentors, which is a great resource, especially if you are a new peer mentor. You can see information, projects, tasks that were worked on previously. When you want to go back to the main folders, the main list of folders, you click on General, and this will bring you back to this page. For the 22-23 year, you would click on this tab, and will bring you to these different folders listed. We just finished discussing timesheets and work logs. At the end of your shifts on Friday, you would upload your timesheet to the timesheet folder. So you click here, and there will be a folder with your name in order for you to upload it. The blank copy of the timesheet will always be located in the timesheet folder. So if you click on this, it's best for you to download it, because when you open it on Teams, the image can be distorted sometimes. So if you download the copy, that will be easier for you to fill out. That is what you should be doing, so you can save it and then upload it to your folder under the timesheets folder or tab listed here. Similarly, you would be uploading your work logs the same way. So you would click on work logs, and then you would look for the folder with your name and upload your work log. A blank copy of the work log has already been included in the work logs folder for you to access on a weekly basis. Similar to the timesheet, we suggest downloading the work log, filling it out, and then uploading it. My advice on work logs would also be to fill it out daily when you're working. It's easier to do it that way, so that way at the end of the week, you don't have to remember what you did 3 days ago. Other folders listed here is the staff meeting agenda folder. So any agenda created, whether it is by a peer mentor or your coaches, Angela and myself, will be uploaded onto this folder. Any worksheets that you are assigned will be under the worksheets folder. And so right now there is one listed there. Once you complete whatever worksheet it is that has been assigned, you can upload it to the worksheets folder. Other folders listed include the Spark and WVP training. This is required. And when you click on this, there are currently no folders listed here, but your name will be listed, and then you can upload your training certificates, your Spark training certificate, as well as the WVP training certificate. Now we're going to go back to the main page. So we're going to click General, and this will bring us back here. At the start of your shift, you are required to check in on the General page. You would click New Conversation, and you would say, good morning or hello, I am beginning my shift for today. You can also list some of the tasks that you're planning on working on or any questions that you have for either Angela or myself. The arrow at the bottom will allow you to post your comment. So for example, good morning, I am beginning my shift for today. Click the arrow, and then it has been posted. You can edit your comments if needed. You can add on to that. Often Angela and myself will just reply back to the same thread so you can see the information for your question or for your check-in for that day. When you're checking out, at the end of your shift, you do the same thing. So you would then say, I am ending my shift, or you can say, I am checking out for the day, post. If you have questions for other peers, this is a great place to post those questions. The nice thing about Teams is that we can see each other's comments. And so if one peer mentor asks a question and someone on the shift with you that day may not know the answer, another peer on a different day can respond to the question. So any concerns, in addition to the check-in and checkouts, any other concerns, you want to make sure you're posting it here. You can also upload documents. So for example, if you click the little paperclip, it says attach. You can browse from your computer and you can upload anything that you might be working on that you want to share with the team. On the left-hand side, you'll see that there's other tabs or sections. We are really only using the one that says general and daily accomplishments. If you click on the daily accomplishments, it will bring you to this page. It's important because you're a part of a team that you share what you've worked on for the day and where you're leaving off. That way another peer can pick up with what's been finished from your prior shift, if it's not an individual-based project. So there might be projects you're working on your own, and then there will be more collaborative projects. So you want to make sure you're leaving on the daily accomplishments at the end of your shift what you did. So you can see here, past peer mentors often would indicate their name and what they worked on. So you would start a new conversation and say Fatima completed. Let's say you made phone calls for the day. I'm using myself as an example. Fatima completed 50 phone calls for not registered students. Fatima worked on outline for workshop on time management. Fatima met with her or with Angela. So it's important that you're sharing this so that the team can see what's been done for the day.
Okay, Fatima, thank you for going over all that information on Teams. We know it's a lot. And again, any questions should be directed to your coach. Your coaches, just so you can kind of get further clarification. And we do promise the more you use it, the more comfortable you will get with it. Okay. And again, as Fatima had mentioned earlier, part of being a peer mentor is really developing transferable skills, and being able to put that you know how to use Microsoft Teams is a benefit on anybody's resume. It really does level it up just a little bit, and employers look for those types of transferable skills. The other thing that we look to develop in our peers is professionalism. And professionalism is a skill. It is a set of skills that you will get to know and really get to own as you continue to work with us. So what does professionalism look like? Professionalism looks like you show up ready to go. It shows up in that you ask questions, well-formed questions, not just questions that you have chosen just because it's the easy way out. Well-formed questions. So if you have a question on Teams, right, part of the professionalism is how do you ask the question? And also, have you asked this question before numerous times? Because if you have, then you're not learning from it. And we need to work to help you understand how to better use it, right? So when you're looking at professionalism, you're looking at showing up on time. And if you're not going to be on time, how are you communicating that to the team so we're not waiting for you? Okay. Oftentimes, there are projects that are being worked on, and if they're a team effort, part of the professionalism is being able to say, hey, I'm running late today, I'll be there in 20 minutes, and when you show up that you're ready to get started. Professionalism is also an idea of being able to say, I want to really participate in this. I'm just not sure how I can participate, and working with your team to figure out ways to play to everybody's strengths on the team, which is why at some point we're going to have you do a communication style assessment so you can best understand how you communicate. Professionalism is also courtesy and respect for others and their ideas. This is a safe space to work, and we want to create an environment where everybody is listened to and that all opinions are valued. It does not mean that all opinions are agreed upon, and that is okay. But it is a level of respect, and it is a level of understanding. And we hope that through the development of communication and professionalism, you will be able to walk away with better ways to communicate with others on a team. Very few of us will ever work independently where we will never engage with another human being. Even the spacecraft people who actually aren't on Earth work in teams, and they rely on a team in space, and they rely on a team on the ground. So you may not work in a very large team, but professional courtesy is part of anything. It is part of your customer service relationships, which means you will treat our students with professionalism and respect. You will work with your coworkers and your teammates with professionalism and respect. Professionalism is valued, and professionalism is noticed. If you come in late and if you don't follow the check-in procedure, and like Fatima had reviewed, I'm checking in today. As a professional, we now know we can reach out to you. If I don't know that you're on for the day and I have to, hey, contact Fatima, go, hey, Fatima, have you heard from, is this person on today? To be honest, neither Fatima nor I have time to chase, right? Our expectation is that you are going to be the professional in the room. You're also setting an example for other students. They're going to look at you to see how things should be done. So keep that in mind. That's part of the peer mentorship part, is the mentor, and mentors are professional people. Okay, so that's what we wanted to talk to you about, professionalism. We do have the expectation of it, and our standard is high. We set our standard high because we know you can meet that standard. Okay, so that's the professionalism part. Now, Fatima is going to go over communication with you. I'm going to turn it over to her.
Okay, so we talked about the importance of professionalism, and equally important is being able to communicate effectively. Now, communication can take many different forms. You can communicate in person, you can communicate by email, by phone, on Teams. You'll notice virtually we're communicating a lot, but it's really important that you are thoughtful in the way that you communicate, that you convey your ideas and what's needed, what you've worked on very carefully, because if you're not communicating effectively, it can throw off the dynamic of the team. Someone else may not know where to pick up from, someone else, or you yourself may not know what was worked on last. And so it's really important that when you are sharing your thoughts and ideas, that it's being done so professionally and in an effective manner. So when you are assigned a task, it's important to follow up, communicate on your progress on that task in a timely manner. If you have made progress towards something, it's important letting your team know, here's where I left off, and here's where we still need some work on. When you're communicating by email, make sure that you are letting us know, not just sending an email such as a text, right? A lot of students, and I'm sure you've seen this, a lot of students tend to send emails where it looks like a text message. You want to make sure there's an opening, there is some sort of message, information that you're conveying to us, and then a closing in your emails. Angela will talk a little bit more about email etiquette in the next portion. Just make sure that when you communicate, you're getting directly to the point as well. And if there's anything that you're not understanding, let us know early, because we are here to support you. If you are sick for the day and cannot work, that's information that needs to be communicated with us, and we prefer that to be through email. So you would send us an email to let us know I'm unable to come in for the day, or I'm unable to work my shift for whatever day that it might be. C's that you want to keep in mind when you're communicating. You want to be clear, you want to be concise and correct. But Angela and I do want to add a fourth C, which is compassionate, especially when you're communicating with other students. You never know what's going on with a student, and you want to make sure that you are being compassionate, thoughtful, caring, and kind toward them.
So one of the main ways that you will communicate with everybody post-COVID pandemic is email and written words, which is ironic because we've kind of come full circle back into how important the written word is. When you are writing, one, check your email every day. Check it daily. If you can check Instagram, and you can check TikTok, and you can check Facebook, and you can check whatever other websites you check, or whatever social media, throw your email in there as something that you're going to check. You also want to be able to follow up in a timely fashion with emails. You also want to read your email all the way to the very bottom. Don't just read the first 3 lines. You need to read all the way to the end. There could be a link at the bottom that you might need to click on. So just keep reading those emails. If reading them is too much, download a screen reader and have it read it to you, right? If that's just too much. When you are responding to emails, when you respond to your coaches, which currently are Fatima and myself, anything you write to Fatima, if it is not just for Fatima, if it is about peer mentoring, it goes to both of us, because we need to kind of both understand what's happening, right? So if you're out sick, you email Fatima and myself. If you are having a challenge with a project, email both of us. One of us will get back to you, or both of us will get back to you. What we don't want is one of us to have information that the other one doesn't have, and then it can cause confusion on our end. So please email us both. When you're emailing, a greeting, hello, hi, something along those lines. And then in the email, it is not a text message. It is an email. I will be out today. I am not feeling well, right? I will email you more information at a later date, or I will be back in the office tomorrow. I anticipate being back in the office tomorrow. Signature, your name, okay? Signature or sign off, thank you. Again, going back to that professionalism. Get used to doing it now so that when you go into your workplace, into your career, this has become habitual for you and it's not a new thing. Like, oh, I don't know how to write an email. You will be judged on how you write emails, not necessarily here, but in a professional world, you are 100% judged by your emails. If you write bad email, people will not think that you know what you're doing, which could be totally not true. You just didn't use the right word. So take your time when you're writing your emails, okay? If you're writing emails out to students, which you may do, please spell check them. Nothing worse than an email going out to a student that has spelling errors in it. We know that it happens, but we also know word checks spelling, Grammarly checks spelling. So if that's something that you maybe have a challenge with, you want to think outside the box. How do I do this so that I look like that I know what I'm saying? Going back to what Fatima said about all communications, they need to be clear. They need to be concise. They need to be correct. They also need to be compassionate. By that, we mean you don't write, oh, my supervisor told me I had to call you because you're not registered for classes. Really? Okay, so we would reword that. Dear Angela, no, I've been asked to contact you because it shows that you're not registered for classes. Please let me know how I can help. All the best, Fatima. It's a little bit of a different message. It's the same message with a little bit of a different tone. There's a little bit more compassion in the second one. So when you are communicating via email, you want to be mindful of what you're writing, okay? So communication is, when they say communication is key, they're not lying. It is 100% key, okay? I'm going to turn it back over to Fatima, and she's going to
So as a final reminder, we want to make sure that you are aware, again, of the checking in and checking out process. So we just got finished speaking about professionalism, communicating, email etiquette, and all of these things really tie into your check-in, check-out process as well. So just make sure on Teams, as I showed you earlier, that you are letting us know when you've started your shift, that you're letting us know when you're ending for the day. This way we can follow up with you during your shift and we'll know where you've left off for the day. By joining our Teams account, you will have access to the Peer Mentor Manual, which I will be showing you now. So to bring us back to the Teams page, if you go where it says Files, we have included the most up-to-date Peer Mentor Manual under the Files tab. So it says Peer Mentor Manual, and when you click on this, you'll be able to access the manual. And what's nice about this is that it was designed by previous peer mentors. All of the work that they've done, all of the workshop outlines, facilitation guides. They even had a section listed for office protocol. They've all included this. So if there's something that you're unsure about we would encourage you to look at the manual. In addition to speaking with Angela and myself or whoever your coaches are in the future, we encourage you to look at the manual because this could be your first source of support when you're trying to figure something out. So if you go through the manual, you can scroll through this way. And there's some links attached which you can click on for further information. If there's anything that you don't understand in the manual, if there's something that is confusing, something that you have questions about, please let us know so that way we can clarify the information that you're seeing here. And you will also, by the time you are ending your role in the future as a peer mentor, you'll be able to have an opportunity to also add onto the manual. So it is something that is growing, that is always being developed, and we always look forward to hearing your ideas and thoughts on what would be helpful for future peer mentors to see.
The other item that we're going to have you complete is a Tradeify career personality assessment. Some of you may already have done it for your advisor, which is fine. If you haven't done it, a link is going to be included in this folder, and you're going to be able to do the Tradeify. Please do it because we are going to review it with you as part of a peer mentor meeting at some point in the future. Again, professionalism is showing up prepared, and it's also showing up. You don't never know when we're going to cover it, right? So what we don't want to do is have a meeting and say we're going to do Tradeify, and then you say, well, I didn't do mine yet. Okay. So we want to make sure that it's done. It's very interesting. The whole assessment takes maybe 10 minutes. It's clicking on pictures, and it brings you back an assessment of your personality type based on what's called the Holland 8, which are career personalities. And through tons of research, like years and years and years and years and years of research, they're able to take personality types and kind of figure out which careers really work well with those personality types. So we're going to be reviewing that as a group and as a team. So the link is here, and we ask that you complete it. Okay. And just at some point be prepared to share and be prepared to talk about it.
We hope that the information you've received today was very helpful. We are now going to end with a few follow-up items for you to work on. Okay, so one of the tasks that we'd like you to work on is to sign up for one ASAP career event with Mr. Atkins and one ASAP group meeting. There's a link that we will be emailing to you in order for you to sign up for the event. And it should be within your work hours. So the event should be something that you're attending while you're scheduled to work. And two things that we want you to keep in mind is be mindful of how the facilitators engage with students. Whoever is running the session, what techniques are they using? What do you notice about the way that they're connecting with students in the group? The second thing to be mindful of and to consider is what are some questions you have. Jot down a list after observing the presentations about the facilitation style. You're also going to be working on completing Tradeify, which Angela just reviewed. You are going to complete what's known as a communication style worksheet. This will be emailed to you, so you'll have an opportunity to complete it. And it's a really great handout. It'll help you see how you prefer to communicate with others, how you want to receive feedback from others. And this is something that will help the team as well. We'll be able to review this as a team in one of our meetings. You want to make sure you complete both the Spark training, and WVP stands for Workplace Violence Prevention Training, via Blackboard. If you are having trouble accessing these trainings, please reach out to Angela and myself so we can further assist you. Last on the list is that we want to be able to introduce our peer mentoring team to ASAP students so they know who you are and can be able to connect with you in a variety of ways. So first, you need to introduce yourself. So you'll be sharing your name, major, a fun fact, maybe a hobby or something that you're interested in. And the last part would be to list as your peer mentor, I. And so an example would be, as your peer mentor, I will be available to support you during your time in ASAP. Or as your peer mentor, I will be available to answer questions that might come up. So you want to think of what you want to offer to students as being an ASAP peer mentor and include that. This does not need to be very long, 1 or 2 sentences for the last part. And this will also be a way for not just students to know who you are, but also our ASAP team. Our advisors and other staff members will be able to see this information.
So we know there was a lot covered because it's just that busy, but we also know that all this information is important. We are so excited to actually start working with all of you and getting the team going. Our students need you. Our students need peer mentors, and we're looking to you to fulfill that in the student need and in the ASAP program. So please take the time. We know it's a lot of onboarding and it can feel a little bit like, oh, this is so much paperwork. Welcome to professionalism. It's all paperwork. But we want to make sure that reach out to Fatima and myself. We are very excited to be working with you, and we hope to have a great year with you and with our ASAP students. So thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to meeting with you in person or virtual or whatever way that kind of works out. All right. Have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you.